Hello everyone, welcome to a video about a couple of things. I'm not even completely sure what it will be about in total, but I have some topics I want to talk about. First of all, if you came to my channel through the shorts, welcome. And maybe you're wondering, well, what is this? Why does it look different? What is this big microphone? Well, that is because I made a change to my channel. I went from long form content to basically short form content. And I did that because I noticed that, shorts is the thing, right? Nowadays, everybody makes shorts. It's something that you have to get into to stay relevant in the social media space. Also, I can post that content both on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok, which is great. So what I did is I took my long form content format, which is basically showing you new phrases, new licks, and I made that short form content. And for my long form content, which I will still make occasionally, not as much as I used to, I'm going back to an even older format, or I'm going back to an older format, which is just me rambling about tunes, about something in jazz, or like chords, but not so much licks anymore. And in this video, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to give you my plan for the shorts and what the bigger plan is, because it's not only about posting a short every day with a new lick. I'm going to talk about practicing triplets, or how to practice triplets, and maybe that's it for now. Maybe there's more, but let's keep it at that. But I'm not gonna really edit this video all that much. So there's this one microphone. I'm going back to the Blue Yeti. It's a microphone I love. Like, a lot of people hate the microphone, the sound is not the best, whatever. It's so easy because it has different pickup patterns, polar patterns, and I'm using the Omni pattern, which means it will pick up my voice, the guitar, it will pick up this Bose speaker, which I can use for backing tracks, and metronome if I need it. Yeah, it's not the best sound ever. I'm not gonna mix everything to perfection separately, but it's very easy, and I think it sounds fine. So let me start with the reason the bigger plan for the shorts. So the plan is that after 40 videos or so I'm almost there, right? I'm at the video 35. So after 40 videos, I'm gonna take a 2 weeks break, and in that time I'm gonna write a new book. And if you didn't know, I already have one book, which is right here, from Hemert System. So what is this book? Like, a lot of people ask me, what is this book and why is it so thin? It's 28 pages. Well, that's because it's not really a book. It's actually a video, a video course, long videos, 10 videos. And this book is just the tab that is part of the videos. And there's text in it. It does summarize what's in the videos, but the main content is in the video. So if you buy the book, you get access to the videos. So, but what is it? Well, what it is the licks that I play, that I like to play, that are automatic for me to play, that I use all the time in solos. And I made a system out of it. I organized those licks in such a way that you can systematically practice it. And the benefit of that is that you really start to see the coherency between the licks, and you start to be able to apply them yourself, which is very different from just learning a lick, because the chance of you actually playing it is very thin, very low chance. That's also for me. So like the shorts that I'm making now every day, so the way I do it is I transcribe a lick I like. Usually it's a new lick. And I practice it very hard. I use my metronome system, linked in the description. I find the nice fingerings. I work on the time. I work on the technical aspects. I work on the phrasing. I work on all of that stuff. And then I record a short. So I play that lick slowly, and then I play it in a solo. Right? So I'm not only showing the lick, I also play it in a musical context, which is very important because I discover licks not from a licks video, but from a solo I like. And then I hear a phrase I like and I describe it. So it's also the way I want to present the phrase. Try to do an improv and I play that lick somewhere in the solo. Now that is easy to do because I've been practicing the lick for 2 hours, something like that. And then I take a tune like All of Me and I look at the changes. It's like, oh, it's a 2-5-1 in C, so I can play it right there. So I'm going to improvise up until that point, play the phrase and go on. Sometimes I fail, right? I don't play the lick, forget to play it, I have to do it again. But it's easy to do in general because the lick will be fresh in my mind. But it's very different from having 50 licks and then you're at a jam or a gig. Chances are that you won't play any of them. It's just there's too much going on and you have to pay attention to the band and your time has to be good and your technique has to be good. There's no real space left in your brains to play a brand new phrase, let alone 50 of them. So by having a systemized way of practicing, let's say 10 licks, the chances of you using it and me using it is much greater. So that book, the Van Hemert System Book, it's basically that, right? I found through my practice 15 phrases or something like that. It's probably more in the book, but that I use all the time and then I systemize them the way I use it myself. And I'm going to do that with the shorts. So after 40 shorts, I'm going to take between 10 and 20 of the phrases I love the most from those 50 or 40. And then I'm going to make a new Van Hemert System Book. So that will be volume 2. And I will do that every 40 shorts or so. And trying to find a way to systemize it. You could almost see it as a kind of a chess opening or something, right? Like if you have a chess opening, right, you're studying the English opening. Like there is a systemized way of remembering those specific moves because all the moves have a purpose. And then the next time you're going to practice the Danish gambit. And then there's another systemized way of practicing those moves, right? The knight might move to the same square, but it's different in the context. So I'm looking for that kind of context. So the Van Hemert System Book 1 is one chess opening, but then I'm going to do Van Hemert Book 2, and that's another chess opening, jazz opening. And then after a while, if you got it down, then you start seeing combinations between both openings. And then let's see how many of those books I can make. So that should be finished fairly soon because I'm already at short 35. So 5 more and then I'm at 40. And then I'm going to take 2 weeks off, write the book. It should be finished. Probably it's going to be a PDF form only. Let's see, maybe I can print it. I'm not sure about that. So that's the first topic. Second topic could be maybe the Discord. I have a Discord. We just passed 100 members, which is great. It's a coaching Discord. Well, that's what it's called. Christiaan-van-hemert's Gypsy Jazz Guitar Coaching. But it's not only about that. Right? You could go to Discord and book a coaching session with me. But it's also about just having a community of Gypsy Jazz students, which includes me. I'm also a student of Gypsy Jazz or jazz in general. And it's a community to hang out, to ask me questions or ask each other questions, have conversations, post videos of you playing. Right now it's not very busy in the forums yet. Well, there's conversation going on, but not as much as I think it could be. But that's why we need to grow the community. So if you want to grow or if you want to join that community, there's a link in the description, also in the comments. And then you can join the Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, there's also a link with a video to me explaining what Discord is and how you install it and stuff like that. But please join it. And you can also book a coaching session if you want. But that's not the main goal, I think. The main goal is to have this community. Another thing to talk about is maybe the coming camps I'm involved in. I'm doing a camp with the Gypsy Trio. It's a weekend, 3rd and 4th of June, Gypsy Guitar Weekend. It's also already a nice number of students have signed up. But if you want to join, then there's a link in the description. You can join there. I will be in Stuttgart for that. I will be teaching during the Polish Shaver Camp, which is, let me check the dates. That will be in the Netherlands. Of course, Polish Shaver will be there, Romine Groenholz, Fabio Lavertin, and I'll be teaching, and that would be in June 14 until 17. So June 3rd and 4th, I'll be in Stuttgart. June 14, 17 is in the Netherlands, in Brabant. And then there will be the next camp I'll be involved in. Well, there's one that is being organized right now, but I can't say anything about it. But that would be in September. I'm not saying anything, but there could be an option there. But then there's one in October. Now, I didn't put the dates in there, but that would be in the UK, in Shrewsbury. So I don't know the dates right now. I can find it here, but I will put that in the description. Then I will be there with Paul Schaefer, Moses Rosenberg, and more people. Remy Harris, I'm not sure he's teaching though, but I know Moses will be teaching, Paulus will be teaching, I will be teaching, Chris Quinn will be teaching. All of that information will be in the description. So now I want to talk a little bit about triplets and how to practice triplets. Now, triplets is an essential part, I think, well, essential. It is a nice part of playing Gypsy Jazz guitar. And I remember starting with Gypsy Jazz guitar and learning about, well, you know what? First, let's talk about this guitar, because some people ask me if I have a new guitar. I do have a new guitar. I have many guitars, as you can see behind me. There's a couple of there, it's not all of them. And of course, I'm an Altamira artist. And I love those Altamira guitars. And most of my videos, you've seen me play an Altamira guitar. But I also wanted to just play a luthier guitar, just because I like those guitars. And I made several top 10s. And my last top 10, which I made together with Tommy Davy, I will link it in the description. On number 11, there was a Dutch luthier called Rino van Hooijdonk. And I put it on 11 because his guitars are really specific kind of guitars. And they're not for everyone, but I really like mostly the sound of them. And I called Rino, I said, listen, I said, I want one of your guitars. I want to buy one of your guitars. And I went to him and I picked this guitar, which is a great guitar. And it has that sound I'm looking for. It's super loud, right? I will win every jam session with this guitar, which is not the point. But it is important because the Altamira that I was playing had a beautiful sound. It was very easy to play. It was not the loudest guitar, which is not important, especially not in most situations I'm playing in where there is a microphone very close to my guitar. But in a jam session with a lot of guitars, you had to work hard on that guitar. On this guitar, you don't have to work hard. It just has a very powerful sound. Now, the playability of the guitar was not the best for me. That's because the action was really high and the neck was really thick, which is what Rino really likes, which is also the way a lot of old Selmers were, which is what Rino's example, right? Those old Selmers. Now, but I love the sound, so I bought the guitar and I went to the best setup guy I know here in the Netherlands, Piet Visser, and he just gave me the right action, made the neck a little thinner because it had this really big D-shaped neck, and now it plays exactly like my Altamira. I brought my Altamira, I said, this is the action I want, this is the playability I want, the neck I want. And then Pete, he changed it in a day. And now I have the perfect guitar for me, right? With this big sound. Maybe not as big as when the action was very high, because of course you get a louder sound. But the sound is the same. It is still very loud and it has perfect action for me. So yeah, so this is that guitar. It's a Rino van Hooijdonk. Highly recommended. But if you like lower action, you need to have a setup after that. But that's not that hard. If you have a good setup guy, then he will be able to do that. He or she will be able to do that. Okay, now let's go back to the triplets. So when I started playing gypsy guitar, there were a couple of players that were really good at playing triplets. Well, of course, Tochelo was really good at that, Moses, but one guitar player that really stood out was Gonzalo Bergara. I don't know how you would pronounce it, Bergara, probably in Argentina, but he was really the main triplet guy. Not because he was playing them all the time, but because he had very specific triplet lines. And they were very appealing. Everyone was always waiting for the triplet lines, even though all of his other stuff was great as well. But the triplet lines were really great. So I figured, you know, I need me some of those triplet lines. So I transcribed those lines, but they were very hard to play. And I never managed to really get them into my fingers. But I started developing my own triplet lines, ones that I could play. But I still had trouble putting them off in real-time live. So I needed to figure out a way to practice triplet lines, to give me ways to be able to play them. So I discovered what you have to do is you have to have accents in the triplet lines that align with beats, right? And the best way is that if you have downstrokes. So if I take one of my triplet lines, which is also in my book, which sounds like this: 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. So let's take a metronome, and then you can hear what I mean with the accents. So let's do slow first. So here I have a metronome. Let's just do all 4 clicks. That's pretty fast. Let's do tempo 150. So now I know it starts on beat 4. So 1, 2, 3. So this G is on beat 1. So I give it an accent, it's downbeat. This F is on another beat. I think it's beat 1 of the next bar. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not on beat 1, but it's on a beat. And then this final note is also on a beat. So 1, 2, 3. So those are my anchor points. And if you played slower, you could even have more points. Let's see. On the C, E flat. Now, here's an upstroke, so that's not easy to do. So let's skip that. So if I would practice slow, let's say I was learning the lick and the tempo is like 100 or something, I would give accents on all those beats, maybe even the upstroke, but let's forget about the upstroke. So then I would go like this. 1, 2, 3. Two, three. And the reason for that is, it's to make sure my hands are synced at specific points in the lick. It's to prevent me from rushing, because it's very easy to rush triplets and then they become sloppy. It's not very clear where they are in the bar. So now I have these anchor points and I try to play all notes as equal as possible, so that all notes have the same length, so that, right, that would mean that the time would be perfect. But it's still easy to rush. So if you have those anchor points on the beat, then you can always have this kind of beat to play to. Maybe it sounds weird, but that's the way I think about it. So if it's faster, it's difficult to give all those accents. So then usually I keep a couple of them. So then I would just keep the G, I would keep the F here, and A. So let's go to like 190, which is really fast for triplets. I think that's kind of the limit. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. You hear the second time I wasn't playing it, or the first time I wasn't playing it correctly. I was rushing. The second time was better. Let's do it again. 1, 2. So that's how I would practice those phrases. Now let's say I want this lick to end on beat 1, and I probably have to start it on beat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Well, yeah, then I would end on beat 1. Now let's try that. 1, 2, 3. So, and that is very good to practice, but also to then use when you have a gig. Just start on beat 2. That's actually the best way to play this lick, because then you end on beat 1 and play those accents. And make sure that those accents line up with a quarter note in the rhythm section. Now, I had this triplet lick in a short recently. I don't forgot the number, but it's I'll put it in the screen right now. This short. It's a Gonzalo triplet lick. It goes like this: 3, 4, 1. This lick is very difficult. You know why? The problem is this lick doesn't have really good notes to have these accents on. So I'm mainly looking for accents on beat 1 and 3. So it starts on beat 2, 3, 4, 1. Well, this A here is a good point, right? 1. It's on beat 1, but now upstroke, upstroke, upstroke. It's all upstrokes. It's difficult to give these accents on the upstroke. It doesn't feel natural. But I need one more, at least one more, to make this triplet lick something that I could trust playing live. So I found to have this F sharp here on an upstroke. So I'm practicing to have this F sharp as an accent with an upstroke, which is an extra challenge, but it's doable. So for the rest of the lick, I'm just gonna play it as even as possible, and then have an accent on this A and on this F sharp. So let's do that slowly with the metronome. But let's do it slower. 120. Doodle doo doodle doo doo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1. You see, the rest I'm playing very softly, just to focus on those accents. 1. Maybe I'll give an accent on the first note also, because this is the start of the lick. 4. Now play the lick more evenly with concerning the volume, but still have the accents there. 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's do it a little faster. Let's go to 150. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. You will notice if you try this yourself that it's very easy to rush the beginning, to don't have this notes clear. And that's why this accent on this A, I think in the short it's actually in another key, but for now in the A, that's very important to focus on the A on the beat so that you don't arrive too early there. Let's try it even faster. Let's try 190. If you can do it on 190 with triplets, usually you're fine. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now you can tell the beginning is the most difficult thing to play, right? It's very easy to just trip over your fingers, rush it. Again, that A is vital to get this lick right. Okay, so the next step would be to play with the metronome on only beat 2 and 4. Let's do that. Let's go a little bit slower. Just not make it too difficult. Let's do 170. 175. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1. Other key. 4. Not bad. And then final step would be to play with the backing track. So let's just take a backing track. Go to my backing track playlist. There's a link to that in the description. Let's start with All of Me. Right, so let's play that on the E7 to the A7. So does it fit there? Let's try it. Yeah. B7. I said B7, but I meant G7, but the lick starts on the B, or starts with the approach note to the B. So let's play a solo again. Let's play it on the E7s, which a couple of them, and then on the G7s. I also played it on D7 now, but I cannot play it both on D7 and G7, so just skip the D7. Keep the solo simple. So I noticed now that on the G7 it's difficult to play because it's so high. Let's practice that. 3, 4, 1. Again, I would go back to the metronome, right? 3, 4. Again, the accents are important, right? For the rest, I try to be as even as possible. So let's do it again. Let's do E7, then, no, same thing, E7s and the G7s. Good. Good. Here we go. Not bad. Let's go to one more tune. I would go through several tunes, but for time purposes, save time. Let's do I Can Give You Anything But Love. Yeah. Okay, I Can Give You Anything But Love. We can play it on the D7, the D7s, and then or the first E7 actually, the first 2/5, the second we can't because it immediately is followed by a 2/5 to C, so then we can play it on G7. Then it's A7 2 bars, D7 2 bars, let's play it on the A7. And yeah, okay, let's do it. I will just say, or you know what, in the first chords, I'm only gonna play those licks, don't play anything else. Maybe some chords, but no solo. I can play it here, but G7, I cannot play it there actually, because again it's a short 2/5. Yeah, so I have to play it on G7 there. Let's go on. We get that's 8 bars. Here. Again. Not here. G7. A7. Not here. G7. D7. Now let's just improvise and play it a couple of times. Not every time, but at least once, or let's say at least twice. But if you do it, the important thing is not to play a great solo, right? Because you're always thinking about the lick. But the important part is that you are trying to incorporate the lick among your other licks. And don't worry about, okay, I have to play great solo. But because you're not going to succeed at that, because it's new. It's also new for me, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I think a couple of more practice sessions like this, and I probably will be able to play it 8 times out of 10 correctly, which is it's good. That is all I can hope for with triplets. And then one day, after like 2 years, I'll be able to play 10 times out of 10 times. And I'm looking forward to that day, but I'm not there yet, and that's also not the point. Don't be scared to try this stuff out in a gig once you did a practice session like this, and don't be scared to fail, because you have to fail a couple of times before you start to feel how this lick works. And that's the case with all difficult stuff, but especially with triplets and even 16th notes. Although there is a thing that 16th notes are easier to time. It's just easier to feel 4 notes to a beat than 3. So don't give up. I think it's important, or it's cool, or it's great if you can pull off the triplet thing. And if you don't know where to start, there's a couple of videos on my channel. about that. I'll try to find one and link one, but also, of course, chapter 9 of my book has triplet licks that are not as difficult as this one, because these are all triplet licks in my book that I came up myself, or that I found are easy to work with in this way, with all the accents. If you want to order my book, by the way, then you can mail me, or you can mail Tommy Davy if you're in the US. If you're in Europe, you can mail me. Email address in the description. And don't forget to join my Discord, check out the camps. And until next time, either in a short or in a rambling video just like this. Bye!